All right, so let's look at why am I doing this? Well, I sometimes talk about my brain like it's third person or something like the way my brain works. I'm trying to figure this out sometimes still, but and one of my rules is don't believe anything I say. Think about it. This when I do public speaking, even or teaching, whether it's in an executive boardroom or when I would volunteer and go in the jail in Broward County, Florida, for every other month for years, I would say the same thing. Don't believe what I say. Like, who am I to tell you what to do? But think about it and see if it applies to you, if it makes sense. Is this worth paying attention to or applying in some way? Otherwise, you just cross that off and say, he was funny to watch. Just like most of the TV and scrolling, it's fascinating. But I came up with a term right after I saw people getting really addicted, which was many years ago now, to just being on the phone. I said, man, it's fascinating. And, it wasn't just like dirty pictures or something. It was things like lasers. Lasers can do eye surgery and they can guide missiles into space and satellites and things. And it can be used for all these things in industry. And someone spent the whole night up surfing the web because you could surf on the web and you didn't even get wet. But I said, wow, that's fascinating. But then you were tired and may not have done your job so well the next day because you stayed up all night. All of a sudden you realized it's daylight and I'm still looking at stuff on lasers. So it's fascinating, but it's a term, what I made up a term, fascinating trivia. Does it have anything to do with your life? Physically, does it make your body better, stronger, more flexible, agile, rested, healthy, strong immune system, whatever, does it make your body better? Does it make your mind better? Do you know how to think better? Do you make better decisions? Do you know how to calm your mind? Do you know how to focus? Do you know how to calm the brain waves to alpha state so that you can actually activate the creative center of your brain and the emotional, manage your emotions? So that's physical and mental. Then there's emotion. What about the emotional part of your life? Do you feel down, upset, frustrated, whatever, a lot of the time, a lot of the days? Or do you feel excited? Do you feel fascinated by life, passionate about what could today bring that will be different than tomorrow? And that's so different than the same old, same old. When I meet people I haven't seen for, how's things going? And they go, well, under the circumstances. I said, what are you doing under there? Come on, under the circumstances. Why let circumstances, the events in your life, dictate how you're doing, how you feel? So, again, this is something that I'm passionate about because if we have a little bit more consciousness instead of letting things happen in our life, then that part of it, so physically, mentally, emotionally, how do we feel about life? Then spiritually, why are you here? What's your purpose? Mission? What values? What's most important to you in life? See, the other animals don't do that. I'll go into an episode. I love nature, so there's going to be a bunch of episodes talking about my childhood and following a herd of deer around after school or whatever in the woods in Pennsylvania. And so I just love being in nature. It's calming. It's I call the real world sometimes. The creation God made is different than all the buildings and stuff that we've got that distract us from living fully, richly, consciously. So in the process, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually is another area that I think, man, if we knew who we are, and this is for you to decide. I don't have the answers. I mean, I'll say up front, I'm a Christian. I have certain beliefs, but I'm not here to proselytize or convert you to something. I'm here to ask you what's important to you in life. See, just your values like that, without any religious connotation to them, is different than all the other animals. And I say it's how we're made in God's image, so to speak. You can believe what you want about how that works, but the idea that, what principles and if I live by those, life can be real fulfilling. And then do I have a purpose or mission or things like that? Then how do I treat people based on those values, that purpose, that mission? How do I treat people? That's the social aspect. So we got physical, mental, emotional, social, spiritual, And then how you treat people in that social aspect leads into financial. How do you get compensated for offering value to people that are around you? And so that would be the financial. So when I look at what I call holistic coaching, looking at all 6 areas of life, we can't just fix an emotional problem. Like give them a drug and it'll change their chemistry. But no, what maybe their neck pain is because they've got this forward head posture that's hanging down. And maybe that's because they're depressed, emotional, and then the emotions because of a relationship or a spiritual crisis. I don't know who I am at this point in life, midlife crisis type thing, or a financial or career decision. And so when we look at the whole person, we can find solutions. And that's part of what we'll talk through a little bit. But mostly it's about how you see your life and how you experience it.